Now let's talk about hundredths. Still, we're dealing with decimals. The whole numbers are on this side of our decimal point. We talked about mixed numbers and fractions. If we had 3 and 3/10, we would write that as 3 in the ones place and a 3 in the tenths place. Easy enough. Well, now we're not dealing with 10 as the denominator. We're going to deal with 100 as the denominator. So this is the place we're going to be focusing on. So we've got our square up here. It's in 10 different pieces. But in order to go with hundredths, we now need to break it into 100 pieces. And I know it's not perfect, but this is kind of as good as I can do it. And you'll just have to believe me when I go through and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 across, 10 times 10. We know that that is 100. All right. So when you look at this one thing, it's broken into smaller pieces. And we learned from fractions, when you break things into smaller pieces, that you have less than one thing. So we were just dealing with tenths. Now this is kind of interesting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things colored in. You know what? Just like we don't need to write 40 like this, the zeros before don't matter, zeros after don't matter until you get a digit 1 through 9. So 10 hundredths is the exact same thing as saying 1/10. And you can kind of see that in there when you look, because look at that. Do you see that tenth? We had that in the last video, only without the little broken pieces. So with this, it's the same idea where you're just looking at what's shaded and counting. And if you were going to write it with a denominator this time, well, we have 100 pieces. So our denominator would be 100. Since we're dealing with decimals, we're going to deal with the hundredths place. So how many are colored in? Let's see, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So we have 36. Our fraction would be 36. Now we don't have 3 whole things here. So if I were going to write a fraction for this, I would write 36 hundredths. If I were going to put it in decimal form, I put a 3 in the tenths place and a 6 in the hundredths place. Do you see how this is just another way of talking about pieces of a number? Those little spots on the number line in between our whole numbers, we had to figure out some way to say how much this is. So we can either use fractions or we could use decimals when we're talking about those numbers. The tenths place and now the hundredths place.